Hey Switchers, how's it going? Kanan here, and welcome to my review of Lambs on the Road. And as always, why not hit that like and subscribe button if you want to be kept up to date with all my latest content, and also hit that link down below if you fancy becoming part of the Switchheads family. And so it's time to find out whether Lambs on the Road is going to make it up onto the Wall of Fame, or maybe the Wall of Shame, or maybe even somewhere in the middle of the road. See what I did there? And so let's get on with it with the gameplay. Okay, so as you can see, Lambs on the Road is a side-on action-adventure post-apocalyptic game, and that is very much easier for you to say than me. The controls are pretty simple. You just move around, and you've got an action button, a stealth button, a jump button, and a run button, all that you'll be using, although the stealth button wasn't used too much in this actual game. The story is actually pretty decent, in fact the highlight of the whole game itself. The story kind of revolves around one character, and he's looking for his daughter in a post-apocalyptic, and it kind of deals with what happens when like everything goes to pot and basically no one has any food or anything to live off, and yeah, it gets pretty dark and bad. The story is told at the beginning and at the end of the actual game itself, and it's told in quite a neat little cutscene type way. And it's also voiced, which is also brilliant. A point added just for that, as far as I'm concerned. And so the actual gameplay itself, you'll be seeing the fact that you've got 3 kind of like lives, and also, you know, you'll be going up, inside, outside, and down into like sewers as well, which is kind of like cool because it's a change of pace and scenery. It will have you picking up certain items. I will say that the actual puzzles are really easy and didn't really take much tasking to actually complete them. Likewise, the enemies, you won't actually be kind of like fighting them, you'll be more running away from them or finding ways of killing them without interacting with them. Your character does kind of talk and interact with some characters during the actual gameplay, and these are done through like mumbles rather than actual words, and then obviously you got the dialogue on the screen. The game's actually priced really cheaply at a really low price of £2.49p or $2.99, and I definitely get the feeling that if one would have paid a lot more than this, or anything more than this amount, I would have probably been a little peed off, as the actual entire game takes about an hour-ish, depending on whether you can get past certain bits straight away or not. And I get the feeling that this is kind of like a testing of the waters type game. Kind of one of those episodic type games where we're going to get a second and a third and a fourth bit to it. But I think if they did that, there are a few things that I would like to see in any sequels or chapter 2s, 3s or 4s before they actually think about releasing it. The story, as far as I'm concerned, is spot on. The puzzles are a little lacking and need to be a bit more difficult. The length of the game, I definitely want to be a bit more longer. A good few hours so that I can absorb myself properly in this universe. The story being added in the actual game itself, as well as the beginning and end. More interaction with other characters, and also I would love an actual fighting type mechanic. I don't know how you'd implement that, but something simple, maybe with a gun or something, would be cool. Graphically, I don't really mind this game. It's very simple, but I played other games of the same ilk with the same type of graphical like quality, and they've worked really well. I've always been to the mind that graphics do not make a game, but they do help a little bit. Audibly, well, it is voiced on those like cutscene sections, as I said, which is absolutely brilliant. And all the other sounds are pretty standard to this sort of thing, so yeah, there's that. The good. A story that literally left me wanting more. I want to know more about this universe, more about what's going to happen, maybe even some flashbacks and things like that. This is actually a really good story. It's priced more or less correctly. The bad. Puzzles are too easy. It's a bit light on stuff in the actual game. There's a bit too much wandering around doing nothing. A bit more action and also atmosphere wouldn't go amiss as well. The score. So thinking about the price as well as everything else and what you get, value for money, it's kind of hard to score this. And as such, I think I'm going to have to give it a 3-, which is a slightly below average game. But if this comes down in a discount, or if you've just got the spare $2.50 hanging around and you don't really care what you spend it on, then yeah, I'd say spend it on this if you're into this sort of genre. If not, and you want to get delved into something like this, I'd probably look somewhere else. Which is a big shame because I really enjoyed the story. It just lacked in so many other ways. And as for my alternative, I'm going to suggest What Comes After, which is another game by Flynns Arcade, and definitely a game that I actually enjoyed, and yeah, it kind of like shows you what they can actually do. It's a very heartwarming story, and it did actually bring a tear to my eye, as well as many other people that I know as well. And a good story that I did actually enjoy all the way to the end. Another short one, but a good one. Okay, so what are your thoughts on Lambs on the Road? Are you going to be picking up for this cheap price, or are you going to leave it because, well, I don't know. What would you say? And given the option, and sensibly now, what would you add to a game like this? You know, a survival action horror type game such as this one. Leave them down in the comments because that's where they belong, of course. And why not hit that like and subscribe button? You'll be doing me an immense favour, helping the channel out, and also be notified of all my latest content. And don't forget to hit that link down below for the community Discord. Come and say hello, come and chat. We are a lively bunch at that. Because life is better when we switch together.